This is Majority Caucus, and I'm your host, Ali Dawood, sitting in for your regular host, Felix Maululu Amegashi. The youth wing of the National Democratic Congress, led by the National Youth Organizer, Ludwig Huloje, and his deputies, James Kofi Fonu and Ms. Barbara Sewa Asamoah, took the John Mahama 2012 campaign to the Northern, Upper East, Brong-Ahafo, and the Ashanti regions over the long weekend. At Kumasi, the Ashanti regional capital, over 2,000 supporters of the party defied the Sunday morning heavy downpour to participate in the John Mahama 2012 health walk as part of activities to maintain fitness among the rank and file towards the running of the electioneering campaign. Tonight, on Majority Caucus, we have been joined by the Deputy Youth Organizer of the NDC, Barbara Sewa Asamoah, a lawyer by profession, and then also by a youth activist in Kumasi, Broja Jemfi, to properly dissect the issues that went on over the weekend as regards to the health work for the campaign John Mahama 2012. Thank you very much, my guests, for joining me, Barbara and Broja Jemfi.
Thank you.
But quickly, before we dealt with the organizers as pertaining to the health work, Barbara, you were with the National NDC Youth Organizer. Could you elaborate what went into the programming in terms of organization, the resources, logistics issues that make sure that this health work was a success?
Thank you very much, and good evening to our viewers. Let me begin by talking about the programs that we had in the two northern regions before we came to Brong-Ahafo and then to Ashanti region. We actually went to Boko on the ticket of FES, that is Frederick Herbert Foundation, on this peace for election 2012, that the National Executive Youth Wing of the various political parties, that is NDC, NPP, PNC, and then CPP. We went there to talk to our colleague young people in the northern regions to ensure that this year's election is a peaceful one. So our youth organizer, Mr. Ludwig Huloje, then asked us to take the opportunity to do some NDC youth work in the northern regions before we come back to Accra. So after the program, which was held on Tuesday in Boko, we slept over in Bolga and then proceeded to Navrongo and then Paga. And in Navrongo, we met taxi drivers and artisans like fitters, welders, mechanics, and other people in the young people in the industries, to talk to them to find out what their views were, and then how they were going to contribute in the 2012 elections to ensure that it was peaceful. It was a very good program. And this time we didn't organize people to keep them in a room to talk to them. We decided to go to the people to find out how they viewed this government, the things that the government has done for their area, and how they were going to...
Before you delve into the details, some of the reports I have gleaned indicates that this really is not a campaign, but just a health work, and that really the campaign hasn't kick-started yet, even though it has been launched. As we've been told, we saw in Kumasi, the campaign was launched after the Congress. Is it true? Because when you went to the northern region, for instance, the working committee was inaugurated by the National Youth Organizer for the NDC, and I'm sure that was in keeping faith with trying to make sure you mobilize the grassroots.
As many as we could, the youth of the northern region, to also participate in this year's campaign. You know, because we have a candidate who is youthful and very strong, he's going to undertake a very vigorous campaign, and the NDC youth have positioned ourselves in such a way that we'll be able to assist him to win massively. Not we want the victory to be in such a way that nobody will have any issues with it. And so, though we didn't go to the northern region to undertake any campaign or embark on any campaign activity, NDC is a very serious political party, and wherever we find ourselves, we take good use of the situation and the opportunity that has been presented to us. So, as I told you, this is what we did, and it was very, very good. The impact was huge. We had the audience of the people were so happy. In fact, we didn't expect to meet such huge crowds because we didn't really plan to go on a campaign tour. We just, for example, in the Paga, we sent about 2 hours notice to the people. When we went to Navrongo and we saw that the program was good in Navrongo, we decided to continue to Paga, which is about 30 minutes drive. We went there and it was good. Indeed. Yes, so we just also continued to Tamale. We slept over in Tamale, and the next day, the youth organizer of the northern region also took opportunity of our presence in the region to inaugurate his youth working committee. We were expecting to meet members of the committee and, of course, some people who have come to. But when we got to the ground, it was massive. Indeed. When the youth of Tamale got to know that we were around, they wanted to hear what we have for them. They wanted to know the message that they had to carry to the grassroots, and they were so enthusiastic. We met up over 2,000 young people in Tamale in the room, and before it was very, very gargantuan. Before we got out, the whole place was full. And I was asking my boss,
and this was without prior announcement.
Is this what we're coming to?
Interesting.
And it's also, so it energized us.
I was particularly touched by the Youth Working Committee because I am very much aware that the NDC has, as part of its fundamental structures, the various youth wings. But now that we have another Youth Working Committee, this committee, does it come with special roles which is quite distinct from what the youth branches of the party does, or is just to consolidate the same?
No, actually the Youth Working Committee is made up of the various youth organizers from the various constituencies, and we want to rope in as many young people as possible who want to work for His Excellency John Mahama, and he coming from the north, and they really came out in their numbers to show solidarity and the willingness of the people to work for him. So it wasn't only the youth organizers. We had the constituency youth organizers, the regional youth organizer and his deputies, and then some, you know, in Tamale, it is the most political city in Ghana. We have a lot of youth groups in Tamale. So
even though other regions will contest, but they have the right to
Tamale is very political, my dear. Absolutely. We made sure to rope in as many as possible that we could, the various groupings that we had in Tamale. And it was wonderful. Everybody was happy and was willing to work for JDM.
So clearly, I mean, with this committee, the foreseeable benefit will be to consolidate the various efforts as churned out by the various youth wing. That's interesting. But to Mr. Jemfi, you are a known youth activist in the Ashanti region and not necessarily political, if I may be allowed to say so. What motivated you to be part of this, the organization of this health walk held in Kumasi? Clearly, I mean, the video clearly speaks for itself. You could see people have turnouts amidst rain and heavy downpour, but they thought that this is an exercise worth, you know, embarking upon. They did not relent in their effort. What was the motivation behind this?
Thank you. First of all, let me state that, as you saw on the screens, this is the first of its kind in Kumasi. We have never seen such a youth health walk before, and so it is something that is very good for the NDC. About what motivated us to defy the weather, you saw it was raining and people were singing, dancing,
they were almost drenched.
Exactly. You know, we have now a president who is very youthful.
Absolutely.
And also, looking at the history of this country, this is the first time we've had a president who was born after independence. And so those of us in that era, that generation, I I think that it will be an indictment on us to relax and see that we don't put in much effort to demonstrate to the world and the people of Ghana that when given the opportunity, we can also do it and also help ourselves to do it. So it came at a very short notice. Oh. And I'm telling you, yes.
With this patronage?
Yes. Whoa. It started raining as early as 4 a.m. in Kumasi. And people by 6 a.m. were on the streets and were ready to participate in that activity. I have not exercised for a while, so I also took advantage to also participate. So aside the political aspect of it, I think that it was a very healthy exercise that people took. If you know Kumasi very well, we moved from the central post office. We came down to the Doom, the Prempe, the second street, got to a point and then diverted to the prisons roundabout and came through to Pampaso and then descended KJTR through Central Market.
That was indeed an exercise.
Yes, we climbed the Roman Hill and got to Asanwase and then came back through Wayek before we ended up in Stadium.
Very
and it was still raining even at the time when
what was particularly very striking about this health walk was that, I mean, prior to that, we have had other health walks, for instance, the one organized by the Honorable Deputy Minister for Information, Okujeto Ablakwa, and his constituency, which is North Tong, Joapon to be precise. We saw that people really participated. But with this one in Kumasi, the record indicates that over 2,000 members amidst rainfall, and they still were there. Very impressive, very motivated. What could be the brain behind that? I mean, why would people want to defy the rainfall and be there? Something should be in there for them.
Well, first of all, I don't know who put the figure at over 2,000. You saw it on the screens, and I'm not sure this is...
There could be more than that.
There were more than that.
Absolutely.
We actually
we distributed 4,000 T-shirts.
Exactly.
And all the T-shirts got finished, and we still had people who were not in T-shirts. Yeah.
Understand. So I have a problem with the figure. I am sure we had more than that. And as you saw on the screens, there were a lot of people who came out. But remember, we are talking about Kumasi and not North Tong or Central Gunja or Boko Central.
All over
this
the place.
Is Kumasi.
Okay.
And as you saw, the number of people that poured out, it indicates the kind of freshness and spark,
the youthful exuberance needed for such a campaign,
that His Excellency President John Mahama has brought on board. Since we elected President Mahama as the candidate and the flag bearer of the NDC, we have seen a lot of changes in Kumasi.
Indeed.
A lot of changes.
Tell me about
Indeed,
it.
the NPP now has refused to hang their flags and posters during the day. This is the first time in Kumasi.
Whoa.
They now do it at night. I don't know why they feel shy.
What are they afraid of?
To do it. You know, it's a
the
kind
NDC
of
flags are flying
it's
high.
a kind of energy that has spontaneously come into the campaign and all the activities that we are having in Kumasi. For example, after the Congress in Kumasi and the kind of people that poured out and came to show love for His Excellency, the MPP decided to counter it with a program launch at Asokwa.
Oh.
And it was,
Clearly
I don't know if
fly.
it was poorly organized or the people actually failed to come.
I see.
Their flag bearer was in Kumasi but refused
you
to
mean
be at the show.
it was an embarrassing spectacle?
Oh, very embarrassing. I'm sure you saw some of the pictures that
before
on the social media.
I will come back to you quickly. Then we'll deal with you know, how the NPP is trying or struggling, for that matter, to as it were deal with this flying momentum as we have seen in His Excellency John Mahama campaign spirit. But viewers, let's go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, my guest would go into details as to the various roles the various people played in terms of making this health walk a success. We'll be right back.